Hi YouTube, welcome to my second video. Thanks a lot for watching. First of all, I just want to say sorry about the glare and the lighting and possibly even the sound. Yeah, and I think they're better than last time. I could be wrong, but this is a bit of a learning curve for me, so bear with me. If it looks awful, trust me, there's some really nice comics in here. It's worth watching, okay? So, what have I got? Well, to start off with, we've got what I finished up with last week, because some people said to me, hey, when you start your video, how about you put a comic there for us to look at? Because last time, obviously, it was the back of the first one I revealed. So, I figured, yeah, rather than put something new, we'll leave the one we finished off with last time and then get into it shortly. Today, I'm going to split this video in two, because the last one I think was about 40-50 minutes, which maybe is a bit too long, and I've got about the same number of comics, because I've done a trip to a shop, I've had a package from America, and I've been to a boot sale, and if you don't know what boot sale is, maybe flea market is the the international term that everybody will understand. So, and picked up picked up a few comics here, there and everywhere. So I suppose let's get into it. So the first one was just something I picked up from my local comic shop. Someone showed this online and I was like, wow, what a great cover. I've got to order that. So I let my local comic shop know I wanted a copy. This is the second print of Nightwing 69. So it's a new book. But I just really like the design because I love the 1960s Batman, and of course this is a tribute to that, with all the Nightwings walking up the walls in the same way they did in the show. So yeah, I just thought that was really cool, and I thought I'd show it because maybe not too many people will see it because it's a second print. So, but I don't know, maybe it's really popular, maybe everyone's seen it, who knows. But speaking of Batman from the 60s, so when I hit the shop in my which is about an hour from where I live, I came across this, and this is the 1 in 25 variant for Batman 66, the last episode. So yeah, this is like a £25 book, and it was in their racks for £4. So I was like, wow, yeah, that's really cool. And I checked this when I got home, and the one, I already have this, but the one I had like a real tiny little tear just on the top of the back cover there, and this one doesn't, so it's an upgrade. So that's really cool. So yeah, I can pop my old one on eBay now and pop this one into the collection. So yeah, that's a nice near mint copy. So anyway, just because they kind of went together, but I'm going to veer away from the trip to the shop, and I'm going to talk about the books I got from America. So I use a service called Stackray. If you guys don't know what that is, it basically is a service where you can get a free PO box in America. So you can order things to an American address. So it's really handy for eBay, or even some shops that won't ship outside the US. But it's also handy because if you order like 10 things, they'll bundle them all together and post them over in one package. So it saves a lot of money in postage that way. And there's sort of two ways you can do it. You can either have everything the way it arrives in its packaging just put in one box, so the people at the company never touch your comics, they just stay in the packaging they arrived in. Or you can have a consolidation where they take everything out of the packaging, but still wrap it really well and then post it to you. So if you don't mind people handling your comics who may not be comic experts, that obviously saves a bit more money. But I'd look into it. They're called Stackray. They're really, really good. So the first book I got was Madman number 8, the Emerald City Comic Con variant. So I got this because about a month ago I picked up all the Madman books in one go. So all of the Caliber books, all the Dark Horse books and all the Image books, but there was no variant covers in that. And I wanted to collect Madman for ages because I really like Michael Laura Allred, as I've said previously, and I was just like, yeah, that'd be a really good read. I'd like to buy that, but I was just like, there's just no way it's ever going to happen because finding those books in the UK would be particularly tough, but B, sort of buying them all individually would just cost so much in postage and all this kind of thing. I was like, it's just not worth it. But luckily, I found somebody who was selling the whole lot on Facebook for about $1.50 a copy, so I took that. But like I said, there was no variants in there at all, so yeah, I picked this up because it's one of the 3 variants from the image run that I needed. So I've already got the second print of number 1, and now I've got this, so I'm just after the Darwin Cook cover, and then I should have the whole lot, which is really, really awesome. But yeah, I just couldn't find that in the UK at all, so I had to order it from America. And yeah, and very much the same story with this book. If you watched my last video, you remember I'm a Savage Dragon fan. It's my main book that I collect. It's the only new monthly comic I buy, and it's probably the bulk of my collection because we're talking nearly 300 comics with all the variants and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's definitely the bulk of my collection. But I just really like the title. Anyway. This is like a collection of backup stories that appeared they were already in the issues, but it came out as a special, and I'm sort of 50-50 about collecting spin-offs. I really want to finish the Dragon run first. There's one variant I need to finish the whole thing, and I'm a bit like, right, I have to buy that before I start focusing on other things like spin-offs. But this one was gaining some heat because the lettering on this is done by Robert Kirkman, who writes the The Walking Dead, obviously, and yeah. So this book appeared on one of the top, in one of the apps, and so it started to gain some heat. So I was like, right, I better get it now before it becomes unobtainable. And I'd only seen like sort of really ticky copies, but this one's really, really good, and it was like $10, so it was great. It was exactly what I wanted to pay for it, and yeah, really nice thing to have in terms of being a completist on my Dragon spin-offs. If once I get this issue I'm missing. So, and yeah, speaking of Dragon, I found a guy who had quite a few newsstand variants. So this is obviously Dragon 7, and it's the newsstand variant. So with Dragon, newsstand copies are like 1 in 100 variants. So there's like one newsstand copy for every 100 direct ones. So they're pretty tough to find, and they're pretty tough to find in great shape. So this eBay seller had this for $3, so I couldn't say no to that. So I thought, yeah, add that to the PC, and I grabbed this too, which again is one of the Dragon spin-offs. This is Star number 1, but this is also a newsstand, and it was also $3. So I was like, yeah, I better grab that. He had like some other spin-off stuff, but I was like, let's not go crazy. No one cares about these books, I'm not really interested in collecting the newsstand ones so much, just because I feel like it's kind of an impossible task, and I don't really want to start something I can't finish. But these for $3, you couldn't really say no, and some of the other bits were just too far along the run and spin-offs, so I wasn't that bothered about them really. Same guy also had this for $3, so I snapped this up because this is the retailer's sort of 1 per store variant for Deathmate 1, and as you may remember from the last video if you saw it, I am a big Valiant fan, so to have this is just like, yeah, it's awesome, because if I'd have had this back in 1992, I'd have felt amazing. I'd have been like, yes, I got the gold one. I don't think they're particularly expensive now. but they're still they're not too common. But but for $3, of course I'm going to get it. Of course. He also had Mr. T and the T-Force #2 with the free trading card still sealed, and that's a newsstand too. But it's a Now comic, so I'm not sure that there's really any difference between a newsstand and a direct with Now. I seem to see more newsstand copies of Now out there than direct one anyway, so maybe it's the other way around. I have no idea. He also had #1 as well, so I grabbed that. And yeah, they were all $3 each, all from the same guy, so it was a nice, cheap and easy package. And I said to a pal of mine, I was like, oh, I would just love to get this signed one day by Mr. T. And and so my friend told me, well, it'd be much easier to just buy it signed because there's about 10,000 out there that are signed, and Mr. T doesn't do many signings. So maybe to come in one of the next videos, you might be seeing a signed Mr. T #1 turn up. Along the same sort of vein, let's just drop this down and talk about it while it's here. So this is Savage Dragon #10, and it's the newsstand variant. Now the difference with this particular issue is that it is a different cover from the direct. So this is a cover variant. I said to myself when I was putting together my Dragon collection that I wasn't particularly interested in collecting, because there's 2 cover variants, and really the second one is more of a trade dress variant than a actual different cover. And I sort of said to myself, I don't really want to collect those, because I'd only ever seen this for $60, around $60 for like a fine plus. So I was like, no, I'm not paying $60 for a Dragon 10 just because it's a newsstand that's way beaten up. Anyway, I had to eat my words, because I saw this for $12 and I was like, well, that's, I mean, yeah, that is what, 20% of the going rate that I'd seen these going for. So 80% off. So I was like, yeah, what the heck, I got a Stackery box open, it's only $12, I'll treat myself to that. So yeah, that's what I did with this. So now I might have to I might have to try and find myself a copy of #30 that's affordable as well. Typically I say 7 days later, a near mint copy of this came up for $20, and I was just like, oh god, it's 60, it's 1/3 of the going rate, it's mint, and it's only a few bucks more than what I paid for this one. I was like, why didn't I hang on? Anyway, I treated myself to the near mint one, because again, compared to paying $60 or paying $20, well, I just figured it's worth doing for that. I had the box going, so it's not like it was any additional expense than what I was already going to pay anyway. So yeah, and it's a nice near mint copy. So I'm going to have to put the Tiki one on eBay, I think, and pop this one in the PC with all those newsstands. So yeah, I was quite pleased with that in the end. Really pleased with the price on it. And also, going right back to Batman 66, I picked up one of these from America as well, and this is absolutely perfect. It's at 9.8 all day. When these came out, I was like, I would really like one of those, because it's the Yvonne Craig 1966 outfit that Batgirl's wearing, and I think this is like cover C, so this is like the 3rd edition of Batman Adventures 12, but this came out 10-20 years after the original. It's just, so it's kind of a reprint, but it's kind of a cover variant. So, but yeah, when these first came out, I was broke. And they were like $50 or £50 for a copy. And I was like, £50 for a brand new book just because it's got a different cover on. Like, that is not worth it. I'm not paying that. So, and I couldn't afford it at the time. So, yeah, luckily I've had a little bit of money in my comic account from selling a few bits and pieces, which and this has been on my list of, if you see it cheap, buy it. So it's sort of nagging me a bit to pick it up. And also I picked up the black and white variant of the same guy, so I got both of these, and this is 9.8 as well. So I got both of these for $85. So probably maybe just a little bit cheaper than when they came out. Maybe about the same when you put the postage from America on. But like I said, at the time, I just didn't have the money to blow on four, because this is 2 of 4 different versions, and I think there's a colour and a black and white, but they just don't have the logo or any of the trade dress on. But I've not seen them cheap enough to pull the trigger. So yeah, so at the time I was like, I'm not going to spend £200 on 4 brand new books. I'll just leave it and see what happens, and hopefully one day come across them in the wild for cheap. I seriously didn't think that would happen, but we seem to have something good happen. So yeah, quite pleased about those. So that's all of the box that came from America. So let's get these out of the way. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so let's move on to the first half of the shop that I went to. That's about an hour from my house. Let's just get Spidey out from back there. We don't want him getting squashed behind comics. Okay, so yeah, this shop is about an hour from my house. Let's pop that on there for something to look at. It's a great shop to go to, because they've got tons of back issues, and not many shops these days do in Britain. Most shops these days just stock new comics, loads of Funko Pops and figures and mugs and t-shirts and all sorts of other stuff, and I know they need to do it to keep going. They've got to appeal to people that don't just want to buy comics, but yeah, it can be very tough to find a good shop with a good selection of back issues. So, but this place has got tons and tons, and loads of really good bargains too. So what actually happened was, so I got there at 10 in the morning before, when it opened. I was the first person in the door, and I was there till about 2 o'clock. And the thing that capped off my day was that I just physically couldn't hold any more comics in my in my arms, and I just found some really, really good bargains. And the guy who runs the shop was like, do you want to leave those behind the counter so you can look at stuff? And I was just like, no, it's fine, because I didn't want him looking through it and being like, oh, hang on a minute, that seems a bit cheap. Oh, hang on a minute, that seems a bit cheap, and sort of squashing my treasure hunt, as it were. So yeah. So plus I was knackered. You just go through that many boxes, it just takes it out. I was like, I am done. I can't carry any more stuff. And yeah, so once again, I never finished going around that shop. I've never done the whole thing in one day. Normally I just sort of have to go, so I get there and I look around, but I never get through all the boxes. And it's normally because I've got to be somewhere else or do something else at the end of the day. But this time I did actually have all day, but I just physically could not do it. So I gave it a good shot though. I got a few hours in. So anyway, yeah, so I picked this up because this was £2. It's in real good shape. It's a nice easy flip book for like about £5, maybe £10 on a good day. And it's the first full Jim Lee comic for Marvel. So he did like a page in an issue of Marvel Universe before this, but this is the first full issue he draws. So yeah, it's a pretty good key book if you're a Jim Lee fan. I found this for £3. I was really surprised that was in there, because yeah, this goes for like easy £10-15 online. So I snapped this up for £3 all day. Yeah, so that's gonna go on my eBay, and yeah. Also found this one, and that was £2, and I think this is the first. So this is like Ant-Man's daughter. Is it Cassie? It's Cassie in the movies. I haven't read this, so I'm not sure about the issue. But this is the first one where she gets powers. It's the first issue where she gets powers, and obviously she then goes on to join Young Avengers. So this is quite hot because it's her first appearance. So again, for £2, I'm sure I can turn that into 10 or 15 easily. So yeah, I found this FF21, Ultimate FF21, should I say? And this is the first cameo appearance of Marvel Zombies. And I'm pretty sure they're going to turn up in What If, according to sort of the adverts. And then we got part 2 of this story, the first full appearance of Marvel Zombies. And I grabbed this one too, which is number 23, which is the final part of the 3-part story, where the FF go to an alternate Earth where all the heroes, there's a zombie outbreak. Most of the heroes have become zombified. So yeah, lovely artwork, and the price was right because these were all £2 each. So I think I'm probably going to put them on eBay as a set. I found this for, what was this? This was £2 too. Was it free? Oh, it was £2 or £3, whatever. It's a first appearance of somebody that people were specking to be in Black Panther 2, right? So yeah, I was a bit like, oh, surprising to see that. I grabbed that, and I grabbed this one too. So it's Ultimate End 1, and it's the Mark Bagley variant, and obviously it's a replication of Ultimate Spider-Man 1, except it's Miles rather than Peter. And yeah, that was £3, and it's in really nice nick as well. So I was really pleased to find that. I mean, for that sort of money, I'm pretty sure that this is easy £15 book. So yeah, that's going to go in the comic fund. They had a whole bunch of Tales to Astonish that were really well loved, really well read, and what was it? There was nothing there I really wanted apart from this, because they were so well loved. Although I really like this title, because sometimes you get, it's all Stan Lee, right? But sometimes you get a bit of Kirby in there. So yeah, I like picking these up because you can pick these up pretty cheap. And you got to remember that this title became Incredible Hulk. So Incredible Hulk, when it goes 1 to 6 and then it starts from number 102, well, it's actually this one, isn't it? It's Tales to Astonish 102, that becomes Incredible Hulk. But this particular one, this is the first appearance of Abomination, who I believe is coming back for the She-Hulk TV show. And this was £10, and I just figured it was worth it because it's really solid. There's no splits on the spine. The staples are attached. The centerfolds attached. It's all it's all there. It is loved, and it's got this nasty sticker on it, which looks like it's one of those ones that, if you've seen these ones before, you'll know what I mean. They feel like they've been super glued on. They're so on. They're never going to come away. But I figured, for £10, I'd totally pick this up. What's next? Hit the Quasars. This was £150, but I mean it's got Thanos on the cover, so I was like, I'll grab that. People might like that. And same with this one. It was £150, and it's the one with the symbiont on Thor. So on the cover from the What If number 4 story. So yeah, that was good. I just figured those two I can get a few pound for. Then I hit the Star Wars, and I think I just bought this one completely by accident. I don't think this is anything. It's a Star Wars 18. It was £2. I think I just got confused on it. So hopefully somebody will buy it for like £2. And then right behind it was this Star Wars 19, which is a first appearance of a Jedi. And that was £2, so I was just like, yeah, okay, I'll grab that. I can make this into a few quid here and there. Somebody had got in there before me, and I spoke to the guy who runs it. He was like, wow, you got a lot of Star Wars. And I was like, well, I like Star Wars. And he was like, oh, I put those out about a week and a half ago, and somebody else bought a big thick stack of them the day I put them out. And sadly the Star Wars Tales 23 and 24 were gone, and a couple of the other big books you could see from the runs, but there was still some good stuff in here, like this number 10. This is worth money. This was this was £2.50. It's definitely a £10 to £15 book. This was £2.50, and this is the photo cover for Star Wars Tales 13. So this is this is the first baby Yoda. It has a Yoda baby in it. I don't think it's Grogu at all. But there was some hype about this when The Mandalorian was out. So like for £2.50, £3, I'm totally gonna pick that up. So, and this one as well. Again, this is the photo cover, and I cannot remember for the life of me why this has got value, but it does. So this was like £3 again, and it's a £10 book, so I grabbed it. But this one was sort of the best Star Wars Tales there. It's the photo cover, Star Wars Tales 19, and this one is the first appearance of Han and Leia's kids. So in the Dark Horse Star Wars, Han and Leia have twins, and I think is one of them. No, it's not Ben, is it? Well, they have twins, and one of them turns to the dark side, and one of them stays good. So I think the boy goes dark, and the girl stays good. So it's definitely the template for Rey and Kylo. But the movies just did it a bit differently, sort of thing. And next hit the Knights of the Old Republic. So they had number 3, which I believe is this character's first appearance. And again, that was like £3, but easy £10 book. Same with this one. I couldn't believe this next book was still in there. But number 31, which is is it the first? Is it Darth Revan or Darth Malik? It's one of the two. It's the first one where this character turns dark and refers to himself as I think it's Malik, right? So this was a big book about a year ago, and just to find it for like £3, I wasn't going to leave that there. That one's a really good find. This one as well, that was £3. That's the first appearance of another Darth. This one was there, that was £3. This one's a little bit ticky, which is a shame. And is this the origin of this character? But it's not a first appearance. I think it's just because the cover is so nice that this one is sort of sought after, number 48. But love it for £3. Totally take that all the time. So that's the end of the first half of what I picked up from this shop, and there's more Star Wars and some other bits and pieces, which I'm going to do in my next video, because I'm trying to keep these short. So and the last thing was the boot sale that I went to, the boot sale stroke flea market, and I was there for about half hour, 40 minutes walking around, and there was nothing there. I was just asking everybody, got any toys, got any comics, got any toys, got any comics, because that's the sort of thing I look out for at these places. And no one had anything, and eventually came across this guy, this older guy, who had half a table full of comics and half a table full of junk. And all the comics were in long boxes, and when I started looking through it, there was a guy already there, sort of on my left hand side. So he was going through the A's, B's, and C's. So I sort of started. I started I started around the H's, and going through the collection, you could see this. It was a collection of somebody who collected in the mid to late 70s through to the early 80s, and there was like loads of New Gods stuff in there. So yeah, I was coming across Mr. Miracle and New Gods, and I pulled a couple of books out, but they were all really, really loved. This person was obviously collecting before keeping your comics in amazing condition was a thing. I said to him, I think I pulled out like the first big barter from the Mr. Miracle, and I was like, oh, how much for this? And so this guy just pulls out this guide. It's the biggest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was just like an A3 guide, and looks it up and quoted me like the near mint price, and I was like, no, come on, that's a near mint price. That's too much for this. This is a fine minus book. You're quoting way over what it's worth. And the guy was like, oh, I know what it says in the guide, it's worth that much, rah, rah, rah. And I was just like, oh, that's how this is going to go down, is it? There's nothing to be, even if it was retail, it would be nice to find some books like that. But the fact that the guys overpriced them, I was just like, oh, there's no point buying them. No point at all. I might as well go on eBay and buy one I get a better copy for the same price on there. So yeah, I was just a bit disappointed. So anyway, I was like, okay, don't walk off. Go through this. The guide he's got might not be the latest guide. It might be last year's guide. He might near mint price something that's worth a bit more money now than it is in that book. So just go through it. And yeah, I went through it and I found something down at the lettering, which I'm going to show last. And then when I managed to get back to the beginning and go through the A's, I found something else as well. So I'm going to show this one first. And yeah, in the D's, I found this. And it's not the best copy. It was one of the better ones he had. You could see a colour breaking crease just here, and it's a bit ticky, but it's pretty good. It's not bad, but it's not high grade. So, but yeah, and so I was like, so what about this one? And he looked it up, and he was like, that's £25. So I was like, okay, that's fair. I'll pay £25 for this. So I did, and yeah, I was quite pleased that his guide obviously wasn't the latest guide, because it meant I could pick this up. It was really, really nice owning this. Actually, I've had a little browse through. I've not read it properly, but I flicked through it, and it's really good. It's really good nostalgia. I mean, like when I was a kid, Masters of the Universe toy range launched, and I remember I saw the advert for the toy range in the cinema, and I was just like, I remember just being like, oh, what is that? That looks amazing. Oh my god. And yeah, I had lots and lots of the toys when I was very young, and it's a real part of my childhood, and part of me thinks I had this as a kid, like when I was about, like, I don't know, 8 or 9, but maybe not. Maybe I think after this, they did like a preview of Masters of the Universe that was like an insert inside another comic, and I think that's the one I had. I think so. I think this is the first time I've owned this one, but it's great. I'm not sure if I'm going to sell this. I might keep this, and this might go in my personal collection. But at the same time, it's kind of really worth a lot of money at the moment. So I think this is probably, in its current condition, this is probably like a £200 book. So yeah, I might sell it, or I might keep it. I don't know. Anyway, so let's finish this video off. So down at the opposite end, I was in the S's and I found another book, and I was like, so how much for this one? And he was like, that one's £20. I was like, okay, I'll take that. And there we go. Silver Surfer, number 3, the first appearance of Mephisto. So, I mean, you can see this is what I'm talking about with this guy's comics, where they were loved. You know, there's like colour missing, there's a price stamp, there's a tear up here, there's a tear on the spine, the dog ear, all the bottom of it's all, it's not, you know, you can see it's not been in a bag. You know, there's dog ears, there's a colour breaking crease, and that's what's showing up on this terrible camera. It is more red than it looks on my screen at the moment. It's not this sort of orangey colour. So it's not faded, but yeah, it's got this another one of these super glue, nasty super glue stickers. But yeah, when I asked him and he said £20, I had to stop my jaw from dropping. So yeah, I was really pleased to find this. I'm guessing in this condition, this is probably worth a couple of £100, maybe more. But I really like Silver Surfer, and I really like John Buscema. And so yeah, this one is going in my personal collection. This is exactly the type of comic I like to keep. But I would never ever thought I'd own this, especially since everybody was speculating that Mephisto would turn up at the end of WandaVision, and it just launched this book, you know, from a £50-100 book in good condition, you know, to a 500, you know, £1,000 book in good condition. So yeah, to find a copy of this, I mean, you know, the cover's all attached, it's solid, it's just got a lot of wear on the front and probably just as much on the back. I can't remember because I didn't really scrutinise it that much. I just thought, I'm lucky to have this, put it in a bag, leave it in a bag. So yeah, really pleased to find this, especially at an affordable price. I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to pay retail on something in this condition, you know, because it would have probably been a couple of £100, and to me it's just not worth it for something that beat up. But yeah, to find it at a bargain price, yeah, that's great. I love that. I'm so happy. I'm just really happy to have found this. So yeah, and I don't think there's anything more to say about that. So that's it. The other half of I'm going to film the other half of this haul now, but I'm not going to put it on the channel until next week. So yeah, just because, well, it's all here now, so I might as well, and it saves me going shopping another time to try and get it ready, right? So yeah, there's another haul coming, which is the other half of that shopping spree, plus a couple of other little bits here and there, I believe, if my memory's right. I'm not sure exactly what's there. So yeah, that's coming. So yeah, sadly the quality of next week's video is going to be very similar to this in terms of lighting and sound, so apologies. But the comics, trust me, you could put up with all this bad stuff, because I think just looking at this one, the comics are worth the pain. They're totally worth, you know, of everything else. I'm going to do a little bit of research in the next 2 weeks to try and I'm going to get rid of this glare, and yeah, with any luck it's just going to look amazing and sound amazing. It's okay, it's going to be better. It's going to be better. It might not be amazing, but it will be better than this, hopefully. And that's it. Thanks ever so much for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment. You know, I really want other people to see this. Yeah, so I believe the more that people do that, the more that will happen. So yeah, thanks very much, and I'll see you next week. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.